Today is May 31st. Yesterday was my very last round of Abraxane, so I am all done. Not feeling real great today, but mostly just really fatigued and have been having, the nausea and just upset stomach. So aside from that, though, it's been a really good week. I have my appointments next week already. Originally I had my MRI on Monday, but I had complications with sorry, Medicaid. So it's been rescheduled. So next Friday I'll be having my MRI, as long as we don't have any more issues. And I also meet with my surgeon that day. So we'll kind of go over, the MRI results, and I'll kind of talk with her about the next step. We'll be doing a double mastectomy still, for sure. The tumor has definitely gone down in size quite a lot, but it's still very much present and didn't dissolve as much as I'd hoped, but we don't know exactly how big it is now because the borders are all dissolved, so he can't give you a really solid measurement. From what we can tell, what the doctor can palpate, it feels like it's about the size of a quarter now, which is considerably smaller than it was, but we won't know for sure until they either, cut me open, or the MRI should give us a better idea too. So I assume, from what she's told me in the past, that I will meet with her first and initially kind of go over options and, what the MRI looks like and what she's thinking, and then I'll probably have another meeting with the plastic surgeon to kind of go over all of that. So I don't know when that'll be yet. I'm kind of shooting or hoping for mid-June to schedule surgery, but I don't know if I'm going to be able to get in that quickly. I just don't know until I meet with her, so we will see. At this point, though, I'm not even really very worried about it. I'm just so ecstatic to be done with chemotherapy. I feel like the next part I know is going to be very painful, and it's going to be huge body image change and a slow recovery as far as just, because they're cutting everything off, so just getting the strength and range of motion and stuff back is going to take time, and I'm going to be literally bedridden for about 3 weeks at least, so it just, honestly though, it just doesn't seem like it's going to be that hard for me in comparison to the chemotherapy. So we'll see. I could be proven wrong. I'm very much looking forward to seeing the new MRI to see exactly, be able to look at the two comparisons and see how much we accomplished, because it was really difficult for me. I really had a hard time in chemo. I was just very, very sensitive to all the medication and the chemotherapy itself. I was allergic to the first one. The second one was better, but it was definitely, I was still dealing with a lot of symptoms, so I'm really looking forward to that not being an issue anymore. Now the nurses and the doctor tell me that all these symptoms from chemotherapy can linger for months, and several months at least, before I'll start, they'll start really going away. So I guess it's going to be a while till I feel great again. But, I think honestly I'm going to, with all the naturopathic stuff and, my diet restrictions and just the healthy lifestyle I live, I really feel like I'm going to bounce back faster than that. Well, faster than the average, just because on the days, the weeks I missed chemo, I felt so much better just having 1 week off, that I'm really confident that, these symptoms are going to go away. I'm still having the hot flashes really, really bad. They have been progressively getting worse. I had to talk to her about that this week because I had no control over my body temperature anymore. I'm either just boiling to the point where I am dizzy and feel like I'm going to pass out, or I'm freezing cold, so I'm constantly either in a jacket or I'm stripping everything off and standing in front of the window with a fan, just trying to breathe and keep my head clear. So I really hope that gets better. They're telling me, though, that it's very possible that that could be permanent. So one of the reasons they wanted, me to see a fertility doctor, or I think that's what it's called, and when this all started, and have, eggs frozen and stuff, is because even if they don't do hormone therapy, which they have not done specifically on me, and they were thinking of doing that, but that ended up not happening. But I guess even when you're just doing the chemo, it can change your hormones so much, and affect your metabolic rate and your reproductive system to the point where you go through menopause. Even if you're in your 20s or 30s, or it can happen. Regardless of how young you are, chemo can just trigger that. So I may end up with hot flashes for a long time. The plus side of that is that I have not had, my menstrual cycle in a few months, so it's just been kind of nice to not have to deal with that on top of chemo, but at the same time, I'm really hoping I don't have to go through menopause and that this isn't a permanent, change. So I guess only time will tell. It's another thing that could take months upon months before it normalizes again, if it normalizes. So not what are you gonna do, right? I mean, you just kind of have to make the decision to have the best attitude you can and truck through it. There really isn't any other way to handle this, I think. And I know I've had really bad days, and my attitude hasn't always been the best, but it does make the whole thing go by faster, and you just do better when you choose to be as positive as you can be. So I would definitely encourage that anybody who's going through this to relish in the good days, and find strength and give encouragement, and definitely talk to other people going through it, because sometimes just giving them hope and sharing your experience with them and letting them know they're not alone, that someone else has already walked this path or is now walking this path at the same time, really helps people. So that's definitely something that had given me strength through it, just being able to do these and talk to people at the clinic, and make friends and have conversations with people I probably never would have engaged with otherwise. So let's see, is there any other information? I have my very last hospital band tag, and I think I'm going to keep this one. Yeah, I guess just recapping still would be, this definitely was really hard. It was really hard, but it's, I don't regret it. I'm not bitter or angry or, why me? Or there were days, of course, where you feel that way, but especially with a lot of the things I've had to endure over the last few years. I've just been through quite a lot. Losing my home, car accidents, people hacking into my bank accounts, just a lot of things. Losing my job while I'm on chemo. But this whole experience has definitely kind of helped me reevaluate my attitude on things, because I've always kind of, the way I've dealt with all the other stuff was with a lot of anger and bitterness, and really fighting and just being not a good person. Not that I was a bad person, but I just didn't handle things. At the time I thought I handled things well, but I'm learning I really had the wrong attitude, and I had a different attitude with this. And even though this is one of the harder things I've done, I was okay. This went better, and I'm really glad it's all over. But I'm glad I've had the experience too, because I feel like I've learned a lot about myself, and it's kind of restored my faith in humanity, just from all the wonderful people, family, friends, strangers, who have reached out and given me encouragement and support and love, and it's amazing. It's just absolutely amazing. And, you know, I've learned a lot about myself, just kind of assessing when you have days when you're laid up and you can't do much of anything else because you're sick and you're miserable and you're even angry. The only thing you have to do some days when you're writing on the floor or, you know, lying in bed wishing someone would strike you down is just kind of assess yourself and how how you're handling the situation in the moment and how you've handled things in the past and what you got to do to get through it. So, and at the end of it all, I feel fortunate to have had this experience and not that it wasn't, that I had really good odds, I had this happen later on in life, or had they caught it later, this could have been, a lot worse, and I may have not made it out of it, had, a lot of things not laid out the way they did, so I think this was a good thing, and I'm not done yet. I've still got at least another 6 months before I'm really fully out of the woods and, not having symptoms, and we'll be done with any kind of treatment. The oncologist wants me to make an appointment with her in a couple weeks after I've had a chance to talk to my surgeon and the plastic surgeon, and she wants to go over, of course, the MRI and see if there's any other treatments or, what we're going to do now, because it's like I said, it's changed a lot. It's a lot smaller, but we didn't get the result we were hoping for. So I'm going to have to be having some other stuff. It may be hormone therapy, it may be just like long-term oral chemotherapy. I think I was told that a lot of people end up like having a low-dose oral chemotherapy once they're all done, that they have to take for 5 years afterwards. So I really am not thrilled about that possibility, but I'm not doing radiation. So even though that was really strongly recommended to me, I've made the decision. I made it fairly early on, and I'm really feeling adamant about it now. I feel like we got good results, and it may not be quite as what we were hoping for, but I'm feeling confident about the result of the MRI, and unless that, shows something completely unexpected, then I'm not doing radiation. So we'll see. There's still a lot of discussion and, stuff I've got to go through, but I'm definitely at least halfway there, if not a little more now, so I'm really happy right now. Not feeling great today, but it's okay. I don't think, even if I was just miserable and dying, I don't think anything could ruin my attitude right now. I'm just so happy to be done with chemo. So I'm anxious to get on with it, but I'm really happy I've gotten where I am, and thank you to everyone once again for everything. You've all been so wonderful. My family and my friends here have just been wonderful. I wouldn't have made it without you. Definitely wouldn't have been able to maintain a positive attitude without all the love. So thank you so much. I think that's all I have for today. So next week it will just be a quick, hopefully just a quick rundown of how the meeting with the surgeon went and what she's thinking, and hopefully some good news, a little more, even better encouragement than the oncologist is thinking on my MRI. So that's where we are. More pending.